Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's Ricky Rebel. Ricky Rebel, of course, a parody. He's joined with Joy Villa and Mindy Robinson. Deplorable Dee Dee. Great cast of characters in this video. Of course, it's a parody on the Village People's YMCA back in the 70s. And you know, funny story, the guy who wrote the song, he was the black dude in the Village People. He played, his costume, his character was the police officer. And it's kind of funny. I don't know if anybody's noticed this or not, but the gentleman said, hey, look, you can use my song. I got no problem with it. Use a song. Have a good time with it. And I don't know, but there was a catch. There was a catch. He said, you have to do the dance. I don't mind if you use my song, but do the dance. And I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but Trump's kind of been doing a little dance thing as he uses a song going off the stage at his rallies. I saw him do it in Minden the other night. It was kind of, I don't know, man. But there's a hashtag going around. It's starting to trend. Do the dance at Real Donald Trump. Do the dance. Of course, I'm having a little fun here with Joe this morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a blast. The weather here in the Midwest was just absolutely fantastic. And you have Holiday Mobile Media, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday morning, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, September 14th. Holiday Mobile Media, we are remotely located in my studio, Kansas City, Missouri this morning. A big thanks to Ricky Rebel. He's let me use the parody. I mean, all the people, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's just me, ladies and gentlemen. But it sure seems like all the folks that are pulling for Trump, that go to his rallies, that line up on the side of the roads and wave the flags, that do these boat things, that do these car parades, that do all this stuff, it sure seems like they're having a little bit of fun with it. And then you have the other part of the equation, the people that are burning buildings down, burning countrysides up, all these fires in California, they're saying most of them are arson. You got to ask yourself a question. It begs the question, are they that miserable that they got to destroy things? Are they really that miserable? Let's look at something here for just a minute. Dianne Feinstein, Crying Chucky, Manic Maxine, Oh Patrick, Hiding Biden, Neurotic Nancy, 60 years, 45 years, 47, 54, 51, 33. Trump's been in office for 3 years, and everything in our world, everything in the United States, everything in the government, it's all his fault. I don't get the math. Maybe it's that new math they're teaching in the Common Core stuff in school. But I do remember a time when ISIS didn't exist. There was no caliphate. Black Lives Matter didn't divide the country and beat everything up. We didn't have Antifa in this country. There was no war against the police. And then we got this guy for a president. Funny how that worked, huh? Funny how that worked. And I got to say this, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to get into some touchy-feely stuff, kind of. Well, I don't know about feely. It's going to make you feel kind of pissed off. But we have a constitution. We have rules in place. Nancy Pelosi pushed those rules aside to let a traitor into the halls of Congress to speak against our president and act in a treasonous manner. Just my humble opinion. And let's make that disclaimer right now. Everything said here is my opinion. And thank God, we are one nation under God. And I have a First Amendment right to have my opinion. Food for thought, ladies and gentlemen. Food for thought. I'm noticing. I put this meme up here for a reason. This guy didn't create the Democrats' hate. He exposed it. He didn't create the media bias. He has exposed it. He did not create the corruption in both political parties and our government. He exposed it. So why is he a bad guy? Because he exposed it. Think about that for just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. All he has done is expose a bunch of madness that we're supposed to believe is wrong. I don't know if you've noticed this or not. I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute. Because it's kind of crazy, huh? Kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah. And I don't know, I believe that is some kind of Arabic lettering around that. I'm not sure. I don't know. But why is it that this is going on? And now, I don't know how true that first statement is. I got to be honest there, because I think it's more prevalent with members of that party, but I also believe that there are Republicans that are involved too. To what degree, I don't know, because there's more evidence that points to that party than the other party. There's more evidence, and this begs a question, ladies and gentlemen. We got Netflix, who, of course, Obama, Susan Rice, the Clintons. The big news this week, ladies and gentlemen, Netflix took a serious hit on their stock, and well deserved. I don't know if you saw, right from the promo still that I saw, I was like, wait a minute, you cannot be serious. Cuties, which makes me not ever want to use that word again. For years, you ask women in my background, for years I have used it. Hey, cutie, how are you? Now I'm scared to death to use that term. I'm scared to death to say that word after what Netflix has done. These were like 10, 11-year-old girls, little children. These are children. And they're trying to normalize this. Why are they trying to normalize? But I want to read this still to you here. And I apologize. I think it was Becca Dancer that sent me this one. How does a movie sexualizing children get approved? Who signed off on this? Netflix, to Mary. I understand that not all stories may appeal to all our viewers, which is why we always invest in a diverse range of content from all over the world. We also provide ratings, synopsis, trailers, and controls to help our members make the right viewing choice for themselves and their family. Do you support pedophilia? That's from Mary. Or I'm sorry, that's from the individual asking the question, sending this in. Again, a simple yes or no will suffice. Mary at Netflix responds. The question, once again, do you support pedophilia? Yes or no will suffice. Mary says, we cannot really comment on that, but why we believe in creative freedom, at Netflix we respect all religions and their cultures, traditions, and values. I'm sorry, but there's only one religion that I know of that allows you to, a 50-year-old man to marry a 10-year-old girl. I don't think I need to point that out to you. Liz Wheeler over at One American News, if you watch 11-year-olds twerk, you're a creep. If you taught 11-year-olds to touch themselves on camera, you're abominable. If you defend Netflix airing this child porn, you're enabling abuse. Cancel Netflix. And that's the big hashtag going on this year. I'm going to let this one sit here for a minute because it's another thing that's made our news this week, ladies and gentlemen, is a couple things. Censorship and shaping the narrative. And from this point on here, we're going to get into slides that are shaping the narrative and how they tie back. For some reason, everything, and this is, man, but everything keeps coming back to the elite, to this Jeffrey Epstein character and all his money. But this is part of the Constitution. Okay? Constitution states, the general misconception is that any statute passed by legislatures bearing the appearance of law constitutes the law of the land. Not true. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. This is statistically, that was a tough one to get out this morning there. Thanks for bearing with me. Stated as follows, all laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Mayberry versus Madison, 5 U.S. 137, 174, 176. That was in 1803, ladies and gentlemen. 1803. And I want you to think for just a minute, 1803, that's only 27 years after the country was put together. 1776 was the Declaration of Independence. Not even 26 years because things weren't put into play until, and you got to remember, Madison, that was our second president, 1892 or 1792, excuse me, my math's a little off this morning. And I'm wondering what's going on here. We got this stuff going on here with this big disinformation things going on. Let's go back to this for just a minute. Do you remember during the last election cycle, there were all these rumors going around with FEMA trailers and how Hillary Clinton was going to declare martial law and all this stuff going on, and then all of a sudden, she didn't win. Talk about somebody not accepting an election. She's still complaining 4 years later. Holy Toledo. The thing that upsets me is during the election or during the campaign in 2015, there was a comment made. Because you'd be in jail. If I was president, you'd be in jail. Why have we seen no arrests? And now we have 20-some other people in the FBI and all this stuff erasing phones, did exactly what she did. I'm sorry, but the whole Russian collusion investigation with the Mueller team was so they could bury evidence of their illegal practices. And that's not really an opinion anymore. That has become a fact. Is it crazy? Let's take a look. The Constitution grants the president powers to declare. The Insurrection Act is what it's called, ladies and gentlemen. The Insurrection Act. What I want to know, I mean, right now we have an information war going on that is just unbelievable. Facebook is paying people to take sides. There's ads on Craigslist. They're all over social media. There are ads on Craigslist. And you know what? I wish Joe Biden would come to Kansas City. I am broke. Joe Biden, bring your campaign to Kansas City so I can run around and wave a Trump flag or something. They're paying people to come. I mean, come on. Let's wake up, slap your face for just a minute, ladies and gentlemen, and think about this for just a minute. You see people lining the streets. People lined the streets for 10 miles for Mr. Trump. Joe Biden can't put 50 people in a room. But yet, Joe Biden is leading in the polls. Isn't this what the media told us about Hillary Clinton? I mean, I can pull out of my archives a radio segment from back when I was doing radio where I questioned a headline, and Dennis Romeo, who has since passed, God rest his soul, but he challenged me on it. He was a big Hillary Clinton fan, by the way. But he said, oh, no, that's not what that says. It says this. I said, no, this reads as if she is already elected. They are shaping a narrative that she is our president already, and they haven't even finished the debates. That was my argument then, and I still stand by that, and that is exactly what they're doing right now, ladies and gentlemen. The information war is crazy, and I have a still coming up. We're going to get to that in just a minute on how it's done. But I want to know something. Why isn't this major news on MSN, the mainstream media? Why isn't the pedophilia stuff going on? Why are we not hearing about all the arrests in Indiana, Georgia? There was a sex trafficking case in Las Vegas just a couple days ago. We're not hearing about that. Why does mainstream media bury that? Let's get to the big distraction right now. The big distraction. This. Coronavirus. Coronavirus. From the AMA, the American Medical Association Encyclopedia of Disease, published 1989, page 1051, corona is a cold, which means if you got a little sniffles, if you got a little sore throat, you go give them a test, you're going to test positive for coronavirus. This is why I say it's a hoax. This is why I say they're blowing this way out of proportion. This is why look, they've been doing stuff with coronavirus. They've been mutating this stuff and experimenting with it to create vaccines since 1965. This is a fact. It's a fact. But how does a narrative get shaped? Let me see if we can blow this picture up just a little bit here. Narratives get shaped with that guy right there. BuzzFeed, MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, the Democracy Integrity Project. That's the Pope over here. Look at all these people. Christopher Steele. Oh, the Obamas are over here. Kamala Harris is over here. Oh, gosh. Isn't that a former presidential candidate? Isn't this guy here? Didn't he lie to us about a hate crime just a while back? You got Angela Davis over here. Beto O'Rourke, the Irish guy that changed his name to sound Hispanic so he could try to get the vote. You got Sean King up here. All these social justice warriors, Black Lives Matter people. What do they all have in common? Why this guy keeps coming up? It was just his birthday the other day, too. Happy birthday to the biggest terrorist the United States of America has ever seen. George Soros. Maybe I shouldn't say that name too loud, huh? But let's take a look at something. Fatalities. Case fatality rate. The percentage of COVID-19 certification of vaccination ID 2019 deaths were per total number of cases is an efficient measure by which to evaluate how well a nation responds in treating its affected population. A disease is only severe as its highest mortality ratio in nations having the ability to lower their fatality rate at or below the global average or performing admirably. This was September 12, 2020, just a couple days ago. The average COVID-19 case fatality rate is 3.4%. That's an average of all these countries. If you'll notice, the United States is down here at like 0.3% or something like that. So it's way down here at the bottom, which means I guess we're doing a pretty good job for a president that's doing a bad job of handling. I mean, I don't know how it's all his fault when he was xenophobic for closing the country down. This is becoming a big issue, this vaccination issue, and I just referred to it as certification of vaccination ID. Of course, the amazing Polly has gotten into this. I'm drawing a blank on the doctor's name. I apologize, but Lucifarsi or Lucifars. That's what this is right here. She brought it to our attention. Lucifarsi is a genetic term for a class of oxidative enzymes that produce bioluminescence and is usually distinguished from a photoprotein. The name was first used by Raphael Dubios, who invented the words luciferin and luciferase for a substrate and enzyme respectively. Both words are derived from the Latin word Lucifer, meaning light bringer. Lucifer, C, is widely used in biotechnology for microscopy and as reporter genes for many of the same. This work has been funded by the Gates Foundation because of a direct Microsoft founder. And I want to ask you something here. We're being told that this coronavirus disease is so terrible, it is so awful, it is so horrendous. Why do you not see hazmat containers for these? Now, back to shaping the narrative, a new study has found that people with psychopathic traits are less likely to follow COVID-19 health measures. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the shaping of a narrative to do like they're doing down in Australia and come arrest you and try to lock you up because, of course, you have to be a lunatic not to do what we tell you. You have to be crazy not to follow our orders. Data obtained in open records request from Kansas Department of Health and Environmental shows that